Heck, here's a Montober extra. I want to talk about the life of Lon Chaney Jr. He was born February 10th, 1906, during a full moon. Kind of ironic. He was stillborn. First thing his father did was break ice at a lake and dunk him in it to shock him to life. One of the many stories he would tell of his father. Some heartwarming, some not so much. His father, presumably because of the struggles he went through and he didn't want his son to go through the same things, enrolled him in trade school when he said he wanted to become an actor. After his father's death, his plumbing business and marriage failed and he went into acting. Struggled with bit parts for years. Not years, but for a considerable amount of time. He ultimately took his father's name out of desperation, which didn't in turn open up a lot of doors until Of Mice and Men, both the play and movie. He played Lenny, and it was a role of a lifetime, one of a few he'd have. And that tipped Universal off there might be something to him. His first picture with Universal was a man made monster, which I haven't seen, but I hear, and given everything I seen from him, his performance was magnificent, which would lead to the Wolfman eventually, and him portraying other classic monsters. He was a very kind hearted, caring individual. He fell in love with every kid he worked with on set and at times wanted to adopt them. One of the kids he was worked with in one of the Frankenstein movies, her mother died, and he offered to her father, I can adopt her and her brother, which naturally the father kept them. But both the kids and father were very touched that Lon Chaney Jr. cared about them so much he made that gesture. Also loved animals. The wolf that he fought with that was supposed to be Bela Lugosi transformed in Wolfman, he ultimately adopted that dog, and that dog was like his best friend. It went everywhere with him. Hold on, again, I'm going with notes here, so just bear with me. I watched a documentary on the Wolfman DVD, and there was a lot to take in. Which, by the way, this is the DVD. Again, came in the box set. Has great features. Don't know if you can make them out, but I'll hold them up to the camera so you can read them. Okay, back to the notes. Later on in his career, he would play father figures. A role that meant a lot to him for so many reasons was The Golden Junk Man, which was the TV series about an Italian immigrant who ran a junkyard and sent his kids to school, wanting them to be better than him. He was a versatile actor that could play almost anything. There was a director that I can't. I should have put his name down in the notes. My fault, but whenever he would have a part in a role that he knew would be difficult to play, Lon Chaney Jr. could do it. And he was a pretty humble man. On a movie called Spider Baby, which was one of Sid Haig's first roles, Sid Haig was kind of avoiding him on set. He didn't know how you talk to someone like Lon Chaney Jr. He was ultimately told one day, hey, we need him on set. Go get him. And he knocked on the trailer, Mr. Chaney? And Lon immediately, hey, stop that. My name's not Mr. Chaney. I'm Lon, you're Sid, we're working together. That's just how it is. He was a man that had many tragedies in his life. When you look at The Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr., when I said in my review that was a perfect storm, there was so much emotion from his life he poured into that. And the roles led him to drink because of the makeup process. His alcoholism was a monster of his own creation that In accompany to that, in severe exhaustion, he attempted suicide after the filming of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. But you gotta keep in mind, I'm not excusing that. It was a tragic thing, but like I said in the review, nobody would want to go through this makeup process. The transformation process required him to stay in one place and stare at a marker for sometimes 20 hours as different makeups were applied and removed, and it was just this torturous, tragic process that, again, not many people are built for. But above that, he was still, just like I said, a kind hearted man. He was also a real prankster. He loved to have fun. With his success, he purchased a ranch, and he called it Lenny's Ranch after the character from Of Mice and Men. In his mind, that's ranch would have been Lenny's happy ending if he got it. He ultimately got throat cancer, which he was spoken sign language he knew because of his deaf parents, and he even accredited to them to why his acting was so good. He said living with them was the best acting lessons he could ever have, was his deaf grandparents, not parents, I mean. When he died, one of his closest friends in the movie business, Glenn Strange, who played Frankenstein's monster in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, look for that review Halloween Day. Glenn Strange was also dying of cancer, and there was a memorial broadcast, and Glenn Strange was pretty much bedridden at this point. Chaney, and it's a testament to how warm and loving of a person Chaney was, that Glenn Strange happily, willingly participated in this. Chaney was a man that created some of his own monsters. He had a great life with many blessings, but he also had a hard and tragic life at times. But his legacy lives on. His roles in his movies are masterful. Above all, he will be always remembered as the Wolfman. He is not only is the Wolfman my favorite horror movie, but Lon Chaney Jr. is my favorite horror actor. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Lon Chaney Jr. I'm going to do another one of these talking about Jack Pierce before the month is over. But there you have it. What are your thoughts? Did you know this? Did you not know any of this? And did you learn something new? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.